Hello, soul family. Welcome to Awakening Unplugged. I'm your host, Annie Zoschke, and in this space, we dive deep into real awakening stories from beautiful souls all around the world. Each episode is about truth, transformation, and remembering who you really are. So settle in, open your heart, and let's awaken together. Welcome. I would like to welcome Sarah this morning, a beautiful soul sister that connected with me. It's been quite a few months now, and I would like to open the space for Sarah to share with us um, her awakening at this point. So, Sarah, if you would like to introduce yourself, the spot is all yours now.
All right. Hi, sister. I love you.
I love you.
Thank you for asking me to do this. Truly. Hi, everyone. I'm Sarah, and my first name's Elizabeth, but I go by Sarah on social media. And I've had a few awakenings, two for sure that I can actually say are awakenings. And I was born in a little small town in New Brunswick, here in either the 51st state or Canada, whichever you want to call it. And um, I spent time in the military, almost 12 years. And I came back here in 2014, not thinking I'd ever come back. But I was called back here. At the time, I thought I was called back here because of my mom and helping with her care. No, there was a higher purpose to it. There always is. And my first awakening started around 2009 when I had a loss of one of my cats. And I made the hard decision, and that just opened my heart right up. And if someone had said to me that I was having a spiritual awakening at that time, I wouldn't have understood what that was. I wouldn't have. I was raised in a Catholic family. We went to Mass every Sunday, but was it dogmatic? No. I started healing childhood traumas. My childhood traumas go back as early as 22 months of age. And a lot of things happened in my life. You're going to hear the cats in the background from time to time. The first time I thought about harming myself, I was 11. So there were a lot of abuses that took place up until that time. A lot of difficulties. I always felt like I was on the outside looking in, never really knew where I fit in, always felt different than others, not being able to express myself. And I can remember in high school, one of the teachers asking me a year before graduation what I wanted to do with my life. And I said I wanted to be a teacher. And he said, "Oh, out of all the things you could do with your life, do something else. Don't do that." So I had no idea what to do after that. So I've done different things in my life. I've done hairdressing. I've studied business technology. I worked in healthcare. I studied nursing. I worked in automotive industry for a few years when I lived in Ontario. I've worked in special care centers, nursing homes. And then the last thing I did was be in the military for almost 12 years. So where would you like to go from here, Annie?
Well, thank you for the nice introduction and thank you for being here. How would you have described who you were before the awakening began?
I was someone who was holding on to a lot of trauma. And I think I recognized it. I remember I was about 20 the first time I said to my sister on the phone, I was starting to talk about some of the traumas from childhood, ones that she wasn't aware of. And I wanted so desperately to talk to my mother and father. And she said, "You can't talk to them about that. You can't do that." I'm not blaming her, but I shut down again. So again, that lock on those traumas
Mhm.
got put on.
Mm.
So I held on to it. And you know, the one thing about our soul, sooner or later, it will scream out and say, "I need you to heal this now. It's time. It is time." And that's what happened in 2009. So if you ask me, who was I before that? someone who wasn't connected or didn't feel connected to herself, struggled to speak her truth, didn't know what her truth was, um, never really knew where I fit in.
Mm,
People pleaser, absolutely. Feeling like I was looking for love outside of myself always, that I was never enough, never good enough, that I always had to do more to be okay.
mm.
That changed a lot over the last 20 years.
Thank you for sharing that. That's a lot to
It
share,
is.
but thank you for sharing that. Thank you for being real and being present right now. So, my next question would be, and you kind of already said that, but I want you maybe to go a little deeper with it. What started your awakening?
The first, I think there was parts of me that were always awake, like most of us. You know, we are never disconnected. We are always fully connected to Source, God, and the infinite creator,
Mhm,
because that's who we are. We are fractals of the living source.
mhm.
There is no disconnection, but we didn't know how to connect
Because we
because
weren't
this was,
educated, right? We didn't know.
that's it.
Hmm.
This is it. And so much was done to target us, to keep us disconnected,
Yep.
whether it was childhood traumas, what they did to our food, air, water. And for me, the biggest trigger that I had was in 2009 when I euthanized one of the cats. When I was in a vet room for 2 hours trying to make that decision all by myself.
Mm,
And the moment that I made the decision, I was never the same after. And I was in the military at the time. Things were not going well with the military. I was physically sick 2 years after I got in. I couldn't understand why. My marriage was already imploding. So I was struggling in many ways and didn't know how to heal myself. I
mhm,
didn't know. I just knew that my entire life was imploding.
mhm.
But that was the catalyst. Being in that vet office that day and making that decision, that what started the ball rolling with my first spiritual awakening. But I
So
didn't even know that
universe
that's what it was.
showing you, right? The universe just
Absolutely.
showing you exactly.
Absolutely.
And
That it
that
was
cat
time.
was part of it. That cat, that was
Yes.
that was the cat's soul contract.
Yes, it was. It truly was. It really, truly was because everything just unfolded after that. Because I'll tell you this quick story. When I went to the military MIR, I think maybe days after that had happened, I was an emotional wreck and I was already on crutches. I was waiting for a knee surgery. Dad had been diagnosed with cancer. My stepdaughter was really ill and she passed a year later. So all of these things were coming to the forefront. And when I was in the MIR, the nurse practitioner said to me, I was crying hysterically. And she said, "What is going on?" And I said what I said to her about my cat. And she said, "There's more going on here." And the first thing I knew, the truth finally came out about some of the traumas I experienced as a child. It just came flooding out. For the first time, I had actually said it out loud to someone outside of a
I just
family
got
member.
chills. I just got full chills. Ooh.
It just, yeah, I did too. I did too. So it did. That opened the gates to start my healing. I had said it out loud that I had been harmed as a child. At that point, I still didn't know what had happened to me at 22 months of age.
No. Mhm.
But what I was telling her was what had happened probably from 6 to 9.
Mm.
It just came flooding out. Yeah. So that started the ball rolling.
It shows up however it needs to, eh? It's
It
pretty
does.
crazy how it does, yeah.
It does.
Well, I'm not gonna answer that question. So
If I keep looking down, I've got the cat to my right. So
we just
yeah,
did some healing on that little kitty.
it's there.
Hey, kitty. So the transformation. So what was the hardest part of your awakening?
For that first awakening, I would say it was probably learning to love myself and to let go of the guilt and the shame that I had carried, thinking that I was the reason that these things happened to me, that there was something wrong with me, that all of these things had happened to me, that I caused it.
Mm, wow.
Yeah,
Yeah, that's huge. That is huge for you
it
to
did.
that, right?
It, it was. I spent 2 years going to the sexual assault center. I made huge progress
Mm,
when I was there, talking about a lot of the things that took place.
mm.
And I still have a psychologist today who's like a friend, a family member. People are like, well, you're awakened. Why do you need to do that? Why not? She's a
That's
great
fine.
source of support. She's a great
Somebody,
source of
but somebody to speak to, right? Somebody else to,
absolutely.
yeah. Yep.
And I drop red pills when I'm there.
Why not?
I do. I do.
That's awesome. That's awesome. So, your transformation, how did it affect relationships, work, emotions, and your sense of self?
So do you want me to talk about the first awakening? Because really, it was a transition. It wasn't just one awakening and that was it. So
Well, let's go where
it's
the deep part happened.
all right. So if we're talking about from 2009 onward, the transformation, it was about learning to heal and it was about embracing all of the darkness that I had carried
Mhm.
for my entire life, from the time of infancy to adolescence to teenage years, right up until my 20s. Broken relationships, relationships that were narcissistic,
Mhm.
being drawn to these narcissistic relationships. The
Repeated
light that
patterns, right?
repeated patterns, the
Right.
light that we carry within, right? Because people see that. They
Mhm.
see the light that we carry within, and they're drawn to that.
Mhm.
So for me, the transition was slow. It was very painful at first. And there was a lot of darkness that I had to walk through
Mhm.
before I finally started to realize the light that I carried within, the love. One of the greatest gifts that you can give yourself is learning to love who you truly were created to be, not who the world tells you you are,
Yep.
who you're created to be
Mhm.
as God walking in human form.
Amen.
To realize the truth of who you and it looks and we're all I like this analogy. I said this last year. I don't know if it was me who came up with it or someone else. We are all pieces of a jigsaw puzzle, different shapes, different sizes, different colors,
Yep.
but each one creates the masterpiece. We're all needed. We don't need to change our jigsaw puzzle piece
That's right.
to fit that specific spot
Hmm.
the source has created for us. It was perfectly designed.
Absolutely. I love that. Chills again. Thank you. Wow. But you went through like I know because I know you and I know we've done work together too and relationships. I don't know if you want to talk about that, like everything that happened, relationship, work and everything pretty much synchronized one after the other, right?
It did. It was a progression.
Yeah.
It was like a crescendo,
Yeah.
really.
And
Because
then
if you take
that was because also because you were remembering who you really were and it was really
absolutely,
starting to transition for
that's
itself.
right. That's right. And I was still being tested too when I was in the military. There was an incident that happened even within the military, even during 2 years after I started healing, where someone within the service crossed a boundary in my own home and touched me in my own home. And when I reported that, um, they came back and said, well, you're too sensitive. We all know you're too sensitive. No, the boundary was crossed.
Mhm.
I was not respected in my own home. And I got told, you're too sensitive. You're never too sensitive. When people tell you that, that's because they don't want to deal with the issue
Mhm.
that was raised.
Mhm.
It's not about you.
Mhm.
It's about them either trying to cover something up or not deal with the situation as it is.
Yep.
Always speak your truth. Always. Even when it's hard.
And then
Now,
that
nothing.
you can be grateful though for your awakening to be able to speak that out and actually
Yeah,
get out of that scenario.
it's
Because
true
again,
because
that was
even
another repeated pattern for you, right? That
it
was,
was.
and it was another looping. The universe was showing you, I'm like, can you handle this? And you handle it perfectly this time.
Yeah, I came out and I spoke and I didn't hide it. And that was the thing because had it been the Sarah of, say, even 5 or 10 years before that, I wouldn't have said anything. I probably would have kept it quiet, like all the other
Just go
events in my
down,
life.
like go deeper and deeper into like depression or whatever,
Absolutely.
right? Just keep
Yeah,
it. Yeah,
absolutely.
that's
I
beautiful.
feel like there's probably more I should have shared on the question that you asked me.
That's okay.
And
That's
I
okay. It's whatever
keep me
that
on
needs to show up,
keep
right?
me on keep me in alignment, Annie.
No, I love it. I love your story. I think I think sharing it is going to help a lot of the other people. So that's why we'll just keep going with it. You're doing
I,
fantastic. Thank
well,
you.
I will share this too. This is part of the journey as well. Once you start realizing and you know the light that you carry within you and you start loving yourself and you start growing and realizing who you are and you get in touch with that. Um, because actually when I first realized, like I said, if someone had said to me that I was having a spiritual awakening in 2009, no, what the military and the psychologist and the psychiatrist said was, you're having a mental breakdown, right? That's it. You're having a mental breakdown. You're codependent. You're this, you're that, the labels. All the labels came out. That's when the medication started.
Mm,
We need to put you on this, and this.
just being
I
part of
can't
the
begin,
system, right?
I can't begin to tell you, who I just got chills. Can't begin to tell you how many different types of antidepressants and pain medications, because I was still waiting for another surgery. I was on 10 different medications before I got out of the military. And at that time, oops, one of the kitties fell off the chair. It's okay, honey. And that's Raphael.
Oh,
He's the one who's going to need healing. Um, one of the things I noticed is the more I connected with myself, some around me were more uncomfortable. My marriage, the more I healed, because he was where he was at in his journey, the disconnect became further. It truly did.
mhm.
To the point where finally in 2020, actually just a couple of weeks before the lockdown, I said, you either need to heal yourself or you need to go. I knew what he would do,
Mhm.
but I did it lovingly and I was able to release lovingly, it was a gift. Yeah. Yeah.
Beautiful.
Um, so it was a slow progression, slow transition. And then in 2019, that's when the second awakening portion started.
Mm,
I was watching an interview on EWTN, and it was about Planned Parenthood and the exposure of that. That brought me um, to vaccines and the truth of that and what they were doing in Planned Parenthood. And I was already starting to share online a lot of those things. I was making people very uncomfortable, and because I was very involved in the church at that time, and it was making people really uncomfortable. People already started walking away from my life in 2019.
mm,
And I'm like, why don't people want to know this? And then in 2020, that's when some of my clairs, well, they were probably already there, like
yeah.
claircognizance,
Yeah.
and um, I realized this wasn't about a lockdown. There was a lot more going on. This wasn't about a virus. So I knew there was something more going on. I just didn't know what.
Mhm.
But interestingly enough, and I love telling this story, this is how the truth is always within us. I was sitting at Sunday dinner, and my sister and brother in law were talking about what was going on to come with the lockdowns, this virus. I never watched the news, not ever in my life. Thank you. And I said, that doesn't make sense. The only way that would make sense is if it was a biological weapon or a military operation. I had no idea at that time why I said what I said. I didn't. I knew after. I came to
Predictions, right?
understand.
Yep. Yep.
That's it. So then I started researching and I started realizing
That
I,
rabbit hole, right? Goes deep.
it really does. And I mean, whether you want to call it source speaking through me that day, my higher self, because there is no difference. Yeah, I that came out automatically. I
Hmm.
was being told. So
Yep.
were they, but they couldn't hear me at the time.
Hmm.
And that's okay.
But it's amazing too, right? Because the same thing happened to my husband and I, the 2020, actually even like late 2019, um, it was being shown to us what was happening.
Yes,
Like
it
without
was.
even asking. Like it was coming in our faces, but it's like my husband and I was lucky that my husband, we were doing this together. And it's like, how come we're seeing this and nobody else is?
Yes,
Right?
exactly. That's it. When you're the one questioning things, but it seems like no one else around you can hear what you're
Like
saying.
all of this is not resonating. What is going on? Why is this happening? What, right?
That's it.
It's like,
That's exactly it.
and it's like we were getting the information. Like I wasn't on TikTok then. Me, it was us. It was like YouTube, right? YouTube. And then like everything started exploding on Facebook, and that's when the separation really started, right?
That's it. And if you think about, I don't know if it was like this for you, Annie, but like I said, when I saw that interview in 2019 on EWTN, because I was watching that's like Eternal Word Network, which was a Catholic media station. And the first thing I knew, algorithms on YouTube started coming up on my phone or my laptop, bringing me to those truths. I had never had that happen before, or at least I had never realized it. And I'm like, how, whoa, all this is coming up to show me.
Yeah, talk about divine intervention, right?
Absolutely.
Absolutely. It's like
Absolutely.
it was
It was,
mind blowing for us, and that's why like you're questioning. It's like why are we seeing this? I guess because we already knew, we were already questioning, and then
yes.
like our spirit team were just slapping stuff in her face. It's like, and then we're like, okay, we're the only ones that seen this. We're all alone now, and I'm like so grateful that my husband was with me during all this. And it's like, we're not buying into any of this. This isn't no that it's wrong. Everything is wrong. It's a lie. It's not right.
Absolutely. I was the same way. I'm like, I don't know if I'm sure it was like this for you. I would not comply with any of it.
No.
In fact, I wasn't watching the news, so I had no idea that they were telling people to stay home. So what was I doing? I was going out. Before they did the hard lockdowns, that entire 7 months before the fall came in 2020, I'm going out to Costco and I'm getting, and the neighbors would be like, "You're going out?" And I'm like, "Yeah, why not?" I was jumping in my car, and I would see no vehicles on the highway. And I'm like, what is going on? Where is everyone?
Mhm.
I couldn't understand it until people told me after, well, yeah, we're supposed to stay home. We're in quarantine. We're in lockdown. I'm like, I'm not. I'm not.
My husband and I, that whole summer of like 2020, we had a blast. Everybody was like staying home. We have to stay home. Like nobody's gonna tell me to stay home. I'm like, we're going out, we're going jeeping, we're going do things. No, we're not. No, this isn't happening for us. We were, but and that's when I don't know for you, but that's when we lost a lot of our friends because oh, we can't come and visit. I'm like, really?
Yes.
Like you're your own boss. Nobody's gonna tell you whether or not, oh, we're gonna get arrested. We're gonna get. I'm like, really? No, this isn't how it is. But yeah, unfortunately, that was a big part of like we lost a lot of friends at that moment.
I did too. And I'm going to share this lovingly because I'm not angry about it. But I
No.
remember having the conversation on the phone with my sister. And she said, I don't know what I'm going to do if something happens to mom. And I said, what do you mean? She said, well, what if someone comes here and makes her sick? There was very few people that would go see mom. I was there almost every day.
Mm,
And she said, well, how do I know you're not a carrier? And I'm like, I said, are you serious? I said, really? I said, okay. I said, if you want to talk like that, I said, how do you know you're not then? So, so I wanted her to think about what I was saying. She,
hmm
like so many, she was caught up in what the news was telling her. She was caught up in the fear. And I say that lovingly. I do. But I couldn't get her to hear what I was saying.
hmm
So that was probably early March or mid March, whenever it was. I didn't go see mom until Mother's Day. And finally I said, that's it.
hmm
I've had enough. I got mom her Mother's Day card and her gift, and I went down there without quote unquote asking for permission. And I walked in and I was greeted a bit coldly. And I understand why. I do. But I thought, no, no, mom needs my love. I need her. I'm going.
Yeah,
And I did.
yeah.
And like I said, I don't say that angrily. I say it lovingly because that could have been me.
Yeah,
It wasn't, but it could have been me where,
absolutely.
the MK Ultra went very deep. And some people are, wait, many have woken up.
Yep.
Some are still there, but it'll come.
It's starting to shift. We're seeing the shift now,
Absolutely.
finally.
Yeah,
It's,
we are.
and all we can do is love and compassion, right? Through
That's it.
all of
That's what
it.
we're called to.
Everyone. Yeah. Yeah.
That's exactly it, Annie. We are called to love I never forget. I always remind myself that I was asleep once, especially during certain things too.
Yep.
In your live this morning, you talked about 9/11. I had been in the military for 6 months at that point. I never, yeah. And I was on course at the time. So I was in Borden, Ontario, 20 of us sitting in the classroom watching this on the screens. I didn't, I didn't question, all I saw was the footage.
Hmm.
Had I watched closer after that, I would have been like, okay, that plane, that just went whew, right through. There's
Hmm.
something wrong there. But I didn't because the shock factor,
Yeah.
right? You see the
Yep.
shock and you're stuck in that shock.
Well, and you're watching
Um,
the news and they're amplifying it and making it
that's
out
it.
to be right. Yeah,
Exactly.
absolutely.
So that wasn't the trigger for me to awaken, not at that point.
Mm.
So I think it's so different and it's so individualized for each and every single
Yeah.
one of us what our quote unquote triggers are for our
Yeah.
awakening. And with some, it's instantaneous. For me, and probably like you, I think too, if I look back, there's things that have kind of always been there. Like I could never understand why there was always the level of poverty in this world. Certain things, and I could never understand it when you see mass people with mass wealth, but you see all these organizations asking for money. And how come cancer was increasing if they were getting in billions and billions and billions? I'd be like, okay, but I don't understand. And I remember the first time decades and decades ago, somebody said to me, yeah, that's because they have the cure, but they just don't want you to know about it. And I thought
Because
about
they're
that
not
and I
going
was
to make
like,
any money if they have the cure, right?
that's it. And I wasn't able to connect the dots, say 30 years
Yeah.
ago when I was told that.
Yeah.
Yeah, I started connecting those dots 5 years ago. Yeah.
And here you are
So
today.
that's it. Because 2020, that second awakening between 2019 and 2020, the first one was about waking up to myself,
Yeah.
to the God within.
Hmm.
That second awakening was about waking up not just to inside of myself and that there is no separation. Because I felt the Christ light within in 2010 when I started to do my healing. I felt it. And in 2020, when I found out the truth of the systems, that that was just another continuation
Yep.
of the soul awakening.
It's funny because our timelines are pretty much all the same. And actually, our journey seems to be a lot of, like it matches a lot in certain aspects, right? Which is pretty cool.
It is.
It
It
is.
is. It's amazing. Like I know that it's got to be so different for each
And
and
then
every single.
the timelines work out to that, right? So to me, that was like a timeline shift in the world, like in those points. And I bet you if we compared a lot of people, it's probably almost like the same thing. It's just that whether we chose to recognize it or not.
Exactly.
And here we are today, right?
That's exactly it. And once you
So
know, you
yeah,
can't go
one oh
back.
yeah, once you can't go back, right? That's
And I
it.
wouldn't. And would we want to? No,
No, absolutely not.
no.
I mean, now we know what's coming, so we know
We
that
do. We
it's like,
do. I did not understand until even a couple of years ago
yeah, me
about
too.
ascension. I
Yeah,
didn't. I had no idea. And then finding Q in 2020. Well, that was a whole revelation too.
yeah, absolutely. And it's funny
Yeah.
because yeah, we all had our own way. Like, my in like to the point that I am now here today, me was healing first and then started understanding everything started unveiling for me. Like as you start understanding things and then the healing came. It's like
Yes.
I went into the energy of healing first and then awaken and pineal
That's
gland,
beautiful.
third eye just open and that's when I was able to see the bigger picture. um which is, amazing too. It's like we all have our own way, right, to understanding.
We
It's
truly do.
however,
We truly do. And I want to share this for people too who need to hear, I feel, the power that is within ourselves to self-heal. That's always been there.
yep.
The how miraculously we are created.
Hmm.
Our bodies have been, when we're in alignment. I had mentioned to you that I was on 10 different medications when I got out of the military in 2012. By the time that I moved here, I think I was still on maybe six or seven. I was still on I was on various pain medications, stomach medications, things to help me sleep. I was also on various antidepressants. In 2020, when I woke up to the pharmaceutical industry, I said, that's it. I'm done. I'm finished.
Yep.
No more. And I was still like I was very heavy and very overweight, and I was walking with a cane many times throughout my military career because of the pain in my knees. They said I was going to need more knee surgeries, knee replacement. Well, here I am in 2025. I walk every day. I am no longer on any medications as of 2021. The last one that I got off of was the Nexium for my stomach. That was the hardest one to get off of. And I was on 300 milligrams of Effexor, which for those who don't know is an antidepressant. Yeah, I went from various different ones over the years from 2009 onward. But in 2015, I want to share this story. This is how dangerous medications are. I was still struggling with my marriage in 2014, 2015. And when I went to see the doctor here, he said, well, I'm going to prescribe Paxil for you. So it was like an antipsychotic type of antidepressant. The first thing I knew, I wasn't on it long when I started having suicidal ideation. I'd be in the kitchen and I would have thoughts of harming myself. I'd had thoughts of harming myself throughout my life,
Hmm.
not like this.
Hmm.
And I remember calling the nurse practitioner that he worked with, and I said, something's wrong. I'm thinking of harming myself a lot. And she goes, well, maybe you just need to adjust more to the medication. Because at that time, I was also still on Effexor as well. And I said, okay. So she said, give it another month. This was like October. It was getting worse. And I'm like, something's very wrong.
Hmm.
So I think it was early, maybe sometime in November. I said, I need to see you. So I went in and I sat with her, and she called the psychiatrist at the city hospital, which is 35 minutes away. And I drove myself there that day, and I'm not kidding. I drove myself the 35 minutes having thoughts of driving over the bridge or off the highway. I am not kidding. And I made it there. And what he said to me is this: when he took a look at all my medications, he said, you never should have been put on this medication with this because this amplified
Hmm.
your suicidal ideation. And I'm like, okay, all right, where do we go from here? But what he did was, yes, he took me off that med, but I went from 75 milligrams of the Effexor to 300 for 5 years. 5 years. And I can remember going to my psychologist, and she would say, especially after um, I would have losses in my life. And I
Hmm.
felt, even when my dad passed, there were times that I wanted to cry,
Hmm.
but I couldn't cry.
Hmm.
And I'd be like, I feel disconnected.
Hmm.
So I have to tell you, in 2020, when I got off of all those medications, that's again, everything just, my heart just came wide open.
Yeah.
And I started to connect. Whoo, I got huge ringing in my left ear right now.
Chills,
Huge.
body chills.
They're talking to me. Um, that's when my heart just came wide open and I started doing even more healing.
Hmm.
So yeah, I got off of all my medications. I cleaned up my diet. No longer was I using food as a crutch like I had had all of my life. I was very overweight by the time I left the military. I was probably, I was almost 100 pounds overweight.
Okay.
So, yeah. So now I'm at a healthier weight. And it's not even about the number. It's not about the number, but it's about what it was doing to me when you're 5'2" something.
Yeah.
Um, right? So getting off those medications was huge and taking back control.
Yep.
knowing that we have the power within to self-heal. Yeah, it's powerful.
It's so powerful.
It is. We've been given everything we need.
Wow, thank you for sharing that though. That's a lot. That's a lot. Thank you. Thank you for
Well,
sharing. That's that's a big thing to be sharing, and thank you. I'm grateful for that.
thank you for allowing me to share it.
Oh, it's and you know what? If it helps one more person, right, through all this is that's the goal here. That's my goal. That's what and I know it's yours too because you're
It
here to
is.
do the exact same thing with me right now.
It is. And I just want to say, I am not here to tell anyone how to walk their journey. I'm not here to say you need to stop taking all of your medications. I haven't had a family doctor since 2019 when they all kind of just started disappearing and just started going away. Yeah. So I've been my doctor
Yeah.
since 2019.
Well, it's the loop, right? It's still, just moved back to Ontario 6 months ago, and it's like, oh, like you can go sign up with this doctor. I'm like, I haven't had a doctor since 2020 either, and I'm like, I don't
Hey,
need a doctor.
just
I heal for a living. I like don't need a doctor. I'll leave it for the people that need a doctor. I don't need one. I'm good. It's like if I have to go see a doctor, it's because something really horrible has happened to my body that I need a doctor, like an accident or something. Even my husband knows if something really bad happens to me, you need to reach out to my community first. I'm not going to see a doctor unless I absolutely have to. That's it. That's all. So I have that understanding with him. He knows better.
amen. I just wanted to put that out there, Annie. I am not telling anyone how to walk their journey, but this has been my journey,
Yeah,
and I'm living proof. I am. I'm walking living proof that we are so much more than we've been told.
absolutely. And it's about using discernment, intuition, discernment with this. And,
Absolutely.
whoever is viewing this has to, if it resonates, if it strikes a chord in your body, so maybe that's something that you need to evaluate for yourself too, right? It's not about
Exactly.
us telling you what to do and not to do. It's about, because my story is the same. Before, 2020, I was on multiple different medications. And I take magnesium. That's all I take now. No, that's all I take. And, a healthier lifestyle, a healthier eating. Fasting for me is a huge thing too. So fasting heals, and
Yes.
that's the journey
Yep.
I've been on too with all of this
Absolutely.
too.
That's true because I mean, I don't know about you, but I overate a lot.
Me too.
And fasting, since 2020, fasting has become a huge, like
Yep,
intermittent fasting,
yep.
sometimes fasting 24. The longest I've ever gone, when I did a spiritual ceremony last summer, we did a fast for 8 days, but it wasn't a full fast. It was um, fruits and vegetables. It was all clean.
Yeah.
Um, but even then, it was very, very clean for 8 days. That was the longest I've ever gone.
Mhm.
But it makes a huge difference when we give ourselves that opportunity to heal themselves through fasting.
Well, and it's the studying about it. And I mean, I became a fasting coach, a fast like a girl coach, just in the past year. And it's the understanding of fasting heals, right? It's like after a 72-hour fast, you can actually rebuild your stem cells. And it's like, that's mind
Mhm.
blowing, right?
It
Um,
is.
like it's something, and you have to do your own research. That's the thing. You have to find the right people. I mean, my journey with that came to because I was fasting, but like a man totally different, right? And the universe, my spirit team showed me the person that I had to follow and learn from, which I became a coach from this doctor, which was amazing. So I'm very grateful for that aspect.
That's
Um,
amazing.
but it is, right? I mean, it's whatever works for you, and everybody has different permission slips. I just call them permission slips. It's like however it works for you, that's how you do have to do it for yourself. But we have to learn and we have to, do our research and use our discernment with it.
That's true. And you talked about, I know that you get very clear messages when they come in.
Yep.
Our guidance, our spiritual guides, our connection to source. I think too, that looks very different for each and every single one of
Yep.
us, how we get our messages, what it looks like, our intuition. I know it's different for me than it is for you and sometimes, but we get those spiritual chills. And that was one of the things that came online for me last year.
Yeah.
So yeah. So
Feeling
even
the
though
hug from your spirit team, right? Feeling those
that's
hugs.
it,
It's like, they're
that's
always
it.
with you. They're always here to guide you and help you through everything.
Always. It's true. And I mean, even though I know there's times that some of us walk this journey a little more um, in isolation than others too.
Mhm.
Um, and that's part of it as well. There's reasons for that. There's always reasons, even when you can't necessarily see at the time,
Well, that's
but
the
there's
thing.
always
And some
reasons.
people just need to learn to turn it off.
That's it.
It's like you need, if you're alone and you're living through this alone right now, it's because you need to. You need to turn it off,
Yes,
go within, you know,
that's it.
learn yourself, teach, like, learn about yourself and love yourself. And then everything else will come like so much more, right? It's going to be, it will be all about difference at that point. So, yeah,
It's true.
that's just it.
It's quite a journey.
It is. All right, let's get through. I think you probably maybe answered this already a little bit. The breakthrough. Um, what was the turning point when things started to make sense for you?
In 2000, I'm going to go back to 2010. My first awakening, the breakthrough there, believe it or not, was when I actually started to feel that love within myself, the Christ light within. I felt it. No one had to tell me. I felt it. Now, in 2020, it was different because everything that I had ever believed or thought, or even my healing journey and awakening up to that point, it just turned almost everything upside down again
Mm,
because I felt so alone, so isolated. And I spent 2 years for the better part in the dark night of the soul. It was a hard journey. And there were times when I didn't know if I was ever really truly going to feel okay again.
mm, yeah.
That's that's how deep it went for me. The normal things that I took joy in, like gardening, it doesn't hold the same resonation for me now that it did
Mm,
because that was one of the things that I used to heal, to bring joy.
yeah.
In 2020, it was so different than it was for me in 2010, a decade later.
Mhm,
And yet, here I am in 2025, feeling totally different than I did the first couple of years. It's all growth. And
yeah.
it's all being able to say, I can say now, I couldn't at the time because I couldn't understand it. And I wasn't able to share this.
Hmm.
I couldn't feel the connection inside at that time.
Hmm.
And even when I would have my Zoom sessions for the better part of almost 2 years, because I would not go to her office wearing a mask.
Yeah.
So they were forcing everyone to say, you need to wear, I would not do it. I said, no, that is not my truth. I will not do that. So we did Zoom sessions
Hmm.
for, oh, must have been the better part of a year and a half or so, somewhere along that line. And I struggled to even share this truth with her. And she said, well, everyone has different opinions. And I'm like, this is not about opinions. This is about me telling you what's spiritually going on with me.
Hmm.
And it was, I have to tell you, it was really difficult in the beginning because I knew that I had to truly trust what I was being shown. I had to trust that. And it took me a bit. It really did
Hmm.
to cancel out the noise.
Yeah.
I never walked in fear of what I was being shown, but it was more I felt, what do I do? I'm walking this path alone.
Yeah.
What do I do here? Whereas before, I was so physically and actively involved in my community, the church, taking care of children, helping take care of my mom. And now all of a sudden, I felt absolutely isolated
Yeah.
from those systems, from that support. That taught me I truly had to go within. And I'm still doing it. So
Absolutely.
it doesn't happen overnight. I'm still doing it. Yeah.
No, but this is why also at the end of the day, like, we have our spiritual community that we can lean on as well, right? Which is
Yeah,
fantastic.
it
And
is.
knowing energy and working with energy, and that's something that's come through the past week too, is that
Ooh.
you don't need to be physically with a person. You can exchange energy. And that's part of like me doing quantum
Mhm.
healing too. People think that you have to be together. No, I heal people all around the world just doing this, right? Just doing a Zoom
Right.
call. And, and it's as simple as that. The energy travels however you intend it for it to go. And we can connect, and that's why my lives, on TikTok are, like gaining momentum because people feel it. So it's beautiful, and it's like the
Mhm.
connection is there. It doesn't matter where you are.
It
If you're
doesn't.
feeling lonely, you can always, hey Annie, let's have a chat, and we have the best conversations, right? So it's beautiful, and I think, I'm grateful for the internet for that. There's a lot of bad that happens with, the internet, unfortunately, but on
Yes.
on a good note, it's like we
Mhm.
have this to be able to connect with each other too.
We really do. And when it comes to being connected, I feel your energy. When we truly understand that there is no separation
Yeah.
in all of creation, we are connected to everything.
Yep.
Everything is connected to us. Everything is within. As they say, as within, so without, as above, so below. That is the truth.
It
It
is.
really truly is. And once you understand that, then you look at things differently. Even I can't say this for anyone else, but I know that it allows me to have more compassion and empathy and understanding for those who cannot hear me when I speak.
Yeah.
Because
Absolutely.
in 2020, I was angry.
Mhm.
I was super angry at everybody that couldn't hear me when I was talking, saying, "Why can't you see this? Why
Mhm.
can't you hear me when I speak?"
Yeah. Yep. Absolutely. Yeah.
But the power that we have too, knowing that we are awakened. I love this one. I came across this a couple of years ago when they said, for every one awakened soul, the effect that we have on those that are still asleep, of raising that vibration, Earth's vibration, right? Our vibration, and just the impact that that has on shifting and changes in those timelines.
Yeah, absolutely. And then, to whoever at this point, because I come across this a lot, the impatientness. Being impatient for the people that are not awake yet is such a negative energy that we need to stop, right? That's not something that we should, stop being impatient of the things rolling out and stop being impatient because it's a negative energy that you're emitting. It's like we have to stay in love and we have to stay in
Mhm.
truth, right? Actually, we had a conversation about that before starting this interview. It's like trusting,
Yes,
trusting
it's
is
true.
huge.
It's true. Trusting is huge, and you and I both know that. And when we stay in our center, I mean, yes, sometimes I have to remind myself to come back to that truth in the center, but we cannot force others awake. If it would have been that easy to force people awake, we would have had more people awakened around us. There's a reason why, if you take
We
a
wouldn't
look, and
be
we've
here
talked about
talking
this
about
before.
this.
No, we would not. We would not.
No.
Because most people, if you take a look at where you are, how many people are awake? I started realizing this in 2020 and 2021. I don't know, you probably did too. And I'm like, I'm the only person in my community that is talking about these things and that is awakened to the truth. Why? Why? And then I started to realize I didn't understand at that point why, but that we were all placed where we are
Yeah, absolutely.
by
And
this
I
thing.
mean, that's the same thing for us, my husband and I, because of everything that was going on in 2020, we decided, and because we were still traveling everywhere where we weren't supposed to, we even went out of province because like, who's going to stop me? Like, I'm just going to go and go visit family, whatever. We decide to move. Like we decide to move our busy, like crazy life in our town to move to a different province to get away from it, only to realize later on that it's like that was part of our awakening.
Mhm.
That was part of our healing. We needed to move in a secluded, quiet space to heal. And it all came together. But it's like we listened to the feeling we had and the chaos. It's like Everybody thought we were crazy. It's like, you're not getting vaccinated, you're not doing this. No, we don't want any of it. And we removed ourselves from it. And that
Yes,
became our healing, like the healing
yes, true.
that really took place then, right? We had the time. Because, like I say to a lot of people at this point now, if I would have stayed where I was in 2020, I wouldn't be here today speaking about this because
That's
my
true.
life was chaos. My life was very busy. I was, a mom, I was a grandma, I was a wife, I worked full time and tried to take care of myself. There wouldn't have been any of that. We removed ourselves from it, bought ourselves a little project to heal, and we built our cottage. We healed, and I found out about quantum and realized that, I can heal people, and it's like I wouldn't have done this if it wasn't for that
That's true.
at all.
Absolutely. And if people take a look at their journeys, they will see too that the divine's hand was in probably every single step that they took, but they may not necessarily have been able to see it at the time. So, for example, in my case, every single thing that I went through in my life, I see the divine design in all of it. Was it easy at the time? No, not necessarily. But even moving back here in 2014, that was never my plan.
Mhm.
But the year before that, what happened? My father got sick. He
Mhm.
had cancer. He passed away. I was able to spend time with him. He passed at home. And a year later, I ended up moving here to be support for my sister and mom. That was never in my plan because I had things going on in Trenton, Ontario. But when I moved here, I filled my life with church, children. I had multiple cats still then. I had like 15 cats at the time in 2020. And interestingly enough, I've shared this story before. I'm still in the same house that my ex-husband and I were in. It was divinely planned for me to be here, to go through this awakening in this house,
Mhm.
to walk this path, because I wouldn't have been able to afford it before with the amount of debt we had accumulated. So
Mhm.
what happened was, and I kid you not, in 2019, I ended up in February, I got money from, no, 2020. Yeah, in February, I got money from Veterans Affairs that automatically went into my account. And I called them and I'm like, what is this for? And they're like, well, it's for this claim and this. I said, you denied those claims. Those claims were closed. And they're like, well, no, no, this is what it's for. And I'm not kidding. I have the paperwork to prove it. And I'm like, it was enough. I kid you not. It was enough to pay off debts so that I could say to my ex-husband, you need to make a choice. You need to decide that you're going to heal either with me or by yourself, or you need to go because we I can't do this anymore. And this was before the lockdowns. I had no idea what was coming a couple of weeks later. None. So the timing of that, it was in 2 to 4 weeks that all this took place. And like I said, I had no idea this money was coming. It was enough that he made the decision. He said, no, you know what? I'm going to leave. And I say that lovingly. I do. I truly do. Because I would want nothing but the best for him. I was with him for 24 years. And, but the timing of that,
The universe always gives you what you need when it's time.
absolutely. Even when you don't understand why.
About the trust, right? Trust that you will always receive what you're meant to receive,
Yes,
the lesson you need to learn at the perfect timing, right?
it's true. And that too was a huge step because I had convinced myself for many years that no matter how bad it was, I was going to stay in that marriage because I had already had one marriage that didn't last. And that was a pattern for me to break as well. To
Mhm.
say, no, I can't do this anymore. I'm choosing self-love.
Mhm.
As much as I care about this individual, it's time to let go and let them be on their journey,
Yeah,
whatever that looks like for them. And it's about releasing with love always.
absolutely. Absolutely. That's so beautiful. Thank you for
Thanks
sharing.
for letting me share that. Thanks for letting me share that.
Yeah, hey, you know what? I'm sure there's a lot of people, especially now, because I see the wobble between couples and stuff, and it's how
Yes.
Sometimes there's nothing much more you can do, and don't stay in that feeling, release. And, if it means separating, divorcing, then that's what you need to do, right? It's like sometimes people hang on to, they don't know what they're hanging on to, actually.
Yes. And I knew, for me at the time, I knew that that breakdown had been going on for more than 10 years.
Mhm.
There, and when you see that and and you can understand that because that's the thing. When you become more self-aware
Mhm.
of what you're allowing in your life,
Mhm.
what you have in your life, what you're not allowing anymore,
Yeah.
that's when the huge shifts start to happen. And like you said, it's always about trust
Yep.
and surrendering and knowing. Biggest thing I would tell people too, don't compare yourself to others.
Um,
We're not here to be compared to others or what this person's journey looks like or that person's journey looks like. It's your journey, your soul. You are unique.
yeah.
Unique.
Mhm.
You weren't called to be like this person or that person.
Well, and I think this is something that's something huge that people need to realize, that yeah, you are a unique person, and that um we can never compare ourselves to anybody, because we all have our own mission and our own contract and our own, like our way of that we should be doing things. And it's part of the awakening to understand and fully embody that for yourself too, right?
It is, and that's where you see again the systems that came into play to keep us divided, comparing, being part of the group. Oh, I need to do this to fit in.
Suppressed.
That's it.
Yeah. Yeah.
Huge to be able to say, no, you know what? I know my truth now. I know who I am. I walk in that truth. And if it means that I walk it,
Yep.
with a small collective group, always be true to yourself.
Yep.
Always.
Absolutely. So let's move on to your life now.
My life now.
Who are you
Who
now, Sarah?
am I
How
now?
are
Who
you?
am I now? I'm a divine ember. I am a fractal of the living source. That's who I am. I am not my personal fiction. I am not my corporate entity. I don't subscribe to any of those things. I'm not my all caps letters. I am a free sovereign being. Um, Kick ass flame. That's who I am. Yeah, that's who I am. Even though I say it quietly, that's who I am.
I love it. I love it.
That's
I
who I
love
am.
it. We should
Yeah.
all be feeling this way. I know you and I are both very comfortable in saying that, but I love that.
And the very first time, I think it was maybe 2021, when I started embracing the fact that I was a divine being, to even say that word divine.
Yeah.
Oh, I just got chills saying that. That was really hard for me. That was a challenge to say, yeah, we are divinely created, divinely loved, protected, and guided, because that became one of my biggest mantras. Others have said it too, but that was one of my biggest mantras to say, we are divinely created, we're divinely loved, divinely guided, and divinely protected in this world. Because we are. We didn't we didn't make it through what we've made it through if we weren't divinely protected. I can tell you stories of car accidents that I was in with a family member. I shouldn't be here. At
Mhm.
11, I will share this. At 11, I took an entire bottle of aspirin. I was 11. I'm still here.
Mhm.
No one knew. No one knew that I did that. I woke up the next morning. I'm still here.
That was young to be going through that.
Yes, it was. And I didn't share that with anyone. I don't even know if I shared that with my sister, but I certainly started sharing it with the psychologist, back in, 2009 or 2010, somewhere around there. And especially with the psychologist that I have now, when I started doing therapy with her in 2015. So I've been seeing her, for 10 years. She's like a family member. Um, she really is. And so, yeah, we've all gone through things in our lives. If you look back on it and say, I was protected here, here, and here. I'm still here for
It
this
wasn't
reason, to be
it
here for this
wasn't hard.
awakening.
Yeah. It wasn't part of your contract to leave at that time.
It was not. No. And that's the thing, we were meant to be here for this time.
We signed up
Yeah,
for
that's it. That's
this.
it. I may not fully remember it, but my soul knows. I
Yeah.
say this all the time. Our soul knows. Our blueprint, it knows. My
Mhm.
mind is still catching up. Like this.
Absolutely.
Go, wait, hang on.
Yeah,
Yeah,
I did a video yesterday about keeping it simple because that's my motto in life, keeping it simple. And it's like, yeah, your soul knows, your intuition knows it's your
yeah,
mind that is creating chaos. It's not.
that's it. It's true. It's
Mhm.
true. And that's where one of the biggest battles comes in, and the trusting is saying to trust what your soul is telling you, to trust the divine. Everything is unfolding for us as needed.
Yeah. Yeah, the using your discernment and your intuition is your tool. This is the most powerful tool
It
that you
is.
will ever have.
And I love this when this was said a long time ago. If you're walking in fear, you're allowing fear to control your emotions or your decisions. Is that your truth? It's not. Fear, and I love this because I do feel this.
Mhm.
Fear is an illusion. Fear is a liar, like the song says.
Absolutely.
We're
Yeah.
not we're not called to walk in fear. We don't need to walk in fear. Everything we've been seeing, whether it's the news, that is the illusion.
Mhm. Absolutely. Absolutely. And they've done a fine job programming us into it, right?
Yeah.
Done a fine
Yes.
job, but
Yes.
no, their time is
Because yes, that's right. Exactly. Too many of us awake.
yeah. Yeah, exactly. I mean, the momentum is there now. There's no turning back on this. And
That's
yeah,
right.
the fear, everybody like that isn't fear, but now once they start seeing that it's it's a choice. And that's what I say with a lot of my clients and a lot of people I speak with. You choose to be in fear. You can also
Yeah.
choose to switch it to love
Yes.
instead, right?
Yes. We've been given that free will to always choose.
Yeah. Yeah. You don't like that script, rewrite it because you can. This is what we're here for, to rewrite as many
Yes.
scripts. I mean, we're living in a simulation. We're living in a movie. We can rewrite that script over and over. You don't like this story? Let's change it to the next thing, right?
Let's change them. And
Yeah.
we know that we are doing our part. We've awakened. We're working on ourselves.
Yeah.
We're putting out that energy to others.
Mhm.
There's also so much happening in the background for a very long time that we can't see,
No.
which is beautiful.
Yes, and I say to a lot of people, a lot actually, that it's like you don't need to know everything. You don't need
I'm
to
in,
know everything
that's
that
it.
is going on.
Yes.
You just have to
Yes.
trust that is happening divinely for us. It doesn't
That's it.
matter who, where, how. It does not matter.
No.
It's trusting that it's happening, unfolding with the galactics, the whatever, whoever, the white hats, everybody. It doesn't matter. Just trust that they are doing this for us, with the help of our light and our energy. And it's like, just let it go. Let it
That's
unfold.
it.
And a lot more people are starting to see it this way and say, wow, look at this and look at that. Exactly. You've put your trust in it. Now you just let it go and let it keep going.
That's
Because it's never
exactly
going to
it.
stop, right? I mean, we're going to be at this part, but there's so much more that's going to be unveiling over the years. It's just the beginning. I mean, now
Yeah.
whatever is happening is not even touching the surface of all, we're going to learn more about ourselves and what
That's it.
amazing, magnificent being that we are, right?
That's exactly it. There is so much to learn, so much coming.
Yeah.
It's
And that's something
beautiful.
that I asked when I started doing the quantum healing studies and stuff and doing, the journey to self-love, inner child healing stuff. I'm like, well, what am I going to do when everybody's healed? I said, well, then you're going to receive the next thing that you need to help, others because I mean, we're in the advanced part of things, but they like people are going to start catching up, but then the new thing is going to come and then we're just going to continue learning. It's never going to stop.
Agreed.
which is
I'm
cool.
learning every day.
Absolutely.
And I love what you said because I was going to say it before you did at some point. We don't have to have all the answers right now. We don't need to know or follow everything. We can't. We're not expected to. We're not.
And I've been turning it all off lately. I don't care. Like I just not in a I don't I'm not saying I don't care in a bad way. I just it doesn't change anything for me because I know what I know what I know.
That's right.
So at the end,
And we've said this many times within the awakened community. You know, sometimes the noise, and we know that the noise is getting louder. That noise is not for us.
no. No,
That's to shake those that need to be shaken awake. That's
yeah,
not for us.
exactly. Like all this stuff right now, like as we speak right now today's the 27th of October, all the
Yeah.
stuff that's happening in Canada right now. I mean, I'm catching
Yeah,
glimpses of it. It's like, oh yeah, like okay, people, let's go. Let's wake up. Like, okay,
that's it.
they're showing you this for a reason now. It's like we know it's already all dismantled. They're just showing you different things so you understand, right?
Absolutely. I even see things in my local, right, in my town here that people are starting to speak out on
Good.
after, right? Which is beautiful.
The
People
momentum is
say
absolutely going right now.
it
So
is.
let's move ahead to the next segment. So, guidance for listeners. What would you say to someone who feels they might be awakening but isn't sure?
Oh, that is a beautiful question. And I think I actually put notes on that. Bear with me while I go back.
Awesome.
Yeah, because I think I had notes on this. I think the biggest thing is if you're questioning the systems, you're awakening.
Yep.
If things no longer resonate with you in this 3D life,
Yep.
and you're questioning the systems, your relationships, yourself, and you're like, who am I? What am I doing here? You're awakening. I think that's the biggest thing I would say. When you start questioning and you're not just following what everyone else is saying,
Mhm.
that is one of the key signs
Yep.
that something is shifting inside of you.
The universe is poking you. That's how I like the analogy I like to
I
say.
like
Like
that too.
poke, poke,
Yeah.
poke.
Yeah, we're showing you. Do you
Yeah.
see it? We're telling you.
No.
Yeah, I love that. It's true.
Yeah. And what truth about awakening do you wish everyone knew? I got chills asking you this question.
I just got chills right now after you finished saying that. I think, again, awakening is an individual experience, even though we are all collectively rising and we are collectively ascending. But it is your unique journey. I think that's what would you add to that? Because that's what I feel, because I know that I've heard so many different stories in the last few
Mhm.
years.
Yeah.
And I say, trust that.
To me, awakening and, is about learning to love you. It's about love.
Yes.
Like first and for ooh, chills.
Cool. I got it too.
Right? Uh,
Yeah.
it's about love and love in my mind, in my heart, love is God.
Yes. That's it.
Yeah. So,
Ooh, that's
right?
it.
And we haven't been shown, and because of all the work that I do with my clients, and you've experienced it too, it's the connection to yourself that was never shown to you as a child.
Yes.
And it's all like this whole journey should all be based on love.
Absolutely. Oh, that's
Every
beautifully
waking
said.
moment of your day is about love.
It is everything,
Mhm,
all of this.
mhm. I have tears
Because
in my
God,
eyes right now.
it's true. I don't have tears in my eyes, but I can feel it. And the thing is, you're absolutely right.
Yeah. That's
Because we are, when it's, I remember in scripture, I would argue this the last couple of years with people, and I would not argue, but I would say, so what does it mean then? Because they'd be like, well, I don't believe this and I don't believe that. And I say, okay. So scripture tells you that you're created in the image of God, what does that say?
mhm.
The vastness, the vastness of the infinite creator, I feel is so much more than we can even comprehend. To know that there's no separation, everything
Mhm.
is love,
Yeah.
all of it. The dark,
Absolutely.
the light, the shadows, all of it. It's about embracing all of it. And I know that there's things in this world that have been done to humanity to harm humanity. But this is where we are right now, is this is all being exposed. None of it is hidden anymore. Choice to know, as Q often said, the choice to know is yours.
Yep.
It is a choice.
Absolutely. So beautiful. Thank you
Love
so
is
much.
worth it. No, thank you.
All right. One last thing. I'm going to do
Um,
a quick fire wrap up. In one word, I want you to tell me
yeah,
one word that describes your awakening.
one word that describes my awakening. Fire.
Nice. Why
I was
fire?
gonna,
I'm curious now.
that's how intense my awakening was in 2020. It was intense.
A rapid fire.
Yeah, it was intense. I was going to say flame, but flame, fire.
Yeah.
Yeah, it was intense.
Your favorite tool or ritual?
I don't know if I have my favorite ritual, I would say, would probably be grounding outside. Like anytime I'm out in nature, you know that I'm out walking
Yep.
pretty much every day, especially in the forest.
Mhm.
So a lot of the time I'll walk bare feet. So grounding, being out there, hugging Esther, especially. Um,
I love Esther. I've met Esther.
yeah, that's home for me.
Beautiful.
It truly
Beautiful.
is. Yeah.
What is a mantra or a quote you got that got you through?
Where we go one, we go all. When that started in 2020 and at the time I thought, well, it just means those of us that are awakened, yeah, we're walking this together.
Hmm.
But it is so much more than that.
Yeah, absolutely.
Where we go one, we go all.
Hmm.
That's the interconnectedness of who we truly are,
Hmm.
one with the infinite creator, one with God, one with the infinite source. Yeah, see, there's my confirmation from Raphael.
Yep.
And I started to realize that everything that Q has told us has more than one meaning, including that. Where we go one, we go all. I don't know if you knew this, you probably did, but that bell inscribed with that used to be on, I think it was a sailboat for JFK. And that was also in the movie. What was it called? White Squall. They
Hmm.
said that in the movie, where we go one, we go all. We were being shown for a very long time.
Yep. Yep. Tidbits of information all the time. Absolutely.
Yeah.
All right, one last question. One thing you'd tell every awakening soul right now.
To embrace this journey,
Mhm.
embrace it. Ask, what is it showing me? Instead of saying, why is this happening to me? I know we've heard that before from others.
Yeah.
But when you start saying, what are you showing me? What is it?
Hmm.
What is this showing me? How can I grow from this?
Yep.
It's all about growth and trust. And growth can be uncomfortable. It's meant to be uncomfortable. Not
Well,
always, but
sometimes
it can be.
but it's lessons to be learned too, right? They're showing a
It is.
universe will always show you the way you need to understand for
Yes.
you to react to it and act on it, right?
Yeah,
That's why I say to a lot of my
absolutely.
clients on a daily basis, okay, the pain that you have here is being shown to you for a reason.
It
Whether it's
is.
an energy block or it's an inner child trauma that needs to be healed, it will show you exactly the way because and sometimes I've had clients before it's like okay, well, I showed you this, you didn't act on it, now you've had a heart attack. Okay, so now you're at the end here. So I mean, it will show you didn't listen to it the first time or the second time or third time, and now it had to go drastic. So now whatever you need to do now to fix that, right? So
That's well said. It's true.
yeah.
Right, Raphael? Yeah.
Well, Sarah, I am very grateful that you spent some time with me. I always love spending time with you anyways.
I
If I
love
could
you.
spend 24 hours a day with you, I would because you're such a beautiful and amazing soul sister to me. You haven't been in my life for very long, but
Um,
I'm grateful for every moment that we can spend together because
I'm grateful for you too.
your
That
awakening
mirror,
journey is beautiful.
that mirror is a beautiful reflection. Thank
Yes.
you.
And we
Thank
have
you for asking me to do this. Thank
Oh,
you.
you were the first person on my mind, and I'm hoping a lot more will come forward with this because I think it's needed for a lot of people. We need to show and we need to explain how it all happened for all of us because like I said earlier, it's like everybody is different, and if we can
Yes.
help awaken a little bit of a person to understand what is happening for them right now,
Yeah,
um, if we can help one person, you
it's
know.
true. And one of the mantras that I don't know whether anyone else came up with this, but I remember I was at the park one day, Annie, and I was speaking to someone on the phone as usual, and I said, learn to be the calm in your own storm.
Hmm. Yep.
Now, I can't even remember my own mantra. Be the calm in your storm so that others can be the calm in their storm.
Mm,
So we will be the way showers in many ways. We know the truth. We know who we are. We're remembering who we are. We are coming back to that remembrance,
yep.
and others will too as they awaken.
Hmm.
That's what we're called to.
What a beautiful journey. What a beautiful time to be alive. I'm
It
very
is.
grateful for every waking moment of my days and to be able to share my truth and my love with so many people. And I know you feel the same way too.
I'm so thankful for you, Annie. Coming across your videos several months back, I was like, who is this woman? Where has she been? How come I'm just seeing her now? And you're in Canada, you know?
Yeah. And I'm actually sad that you were so close to me before you were in
Oh,
board before. It's like, oh my God, we could have been friends 20 years ago.
that's it. Wasn't the time, I guess. But
No, it
that's true.
wasn't. Exactly.
Absolutely.
Exactly. All right. Well,
Yeah.
on that note, we're gonna end this recording. Thank you so much again.
Oh,
Um,
thank you.
I'm grateful for every waking moment that I spent with you because I love you so
I
much.
love you. Thank you so much for everything.
Thank you so much. So, on that note,
I'll talk to you soon.
thank you for tuning in, Soul Family. If this story touched your heart or activated something within you, please share it with someone who needs to hear it. Subscribe for more awakening stories, and remember, you are not alone. Until next time, keep rising, keep remembering, and keep shining your light.